Good morning, students. Let us continue the story, The Tiger King. In the first part, we had read that when the Tiger King was born, the astrologers predicted that his death would come from a tiger. So, as a result, from the age of 20 years, he started killing the tigers. He made an announcement that nobody in his kingdom would kill the tiger except himself. Now, what happened? A British officer came for a tiger hunt in the kingdom, but the king did not allow him. Why? Because if he would allow him, then other British officers would also come with the same desire. Not only he allowed him for tiger hunting, but he also did not allow him to have a photograph with the carcass of the tiger. Now, he was in danger of losing his kingdom. So what did he do? To save his kingdom, he sent him a sample of 50 diamond rings. And you know what happened? The Durai Sani, the lady of the British officer, what did she do? She kept all the diamond rings and set a note of thanks. So we had done till here. Now let us continue. The Maharaja's tigers hunt continued to be highly successful. Within 10 years, he was able to kill 70 tigers. And then an unforeseen hurdle brought his mission to a standstill. The tiger population became extinct in the forest of Pratipanpuram. Who knows whether the tigers practiced birth control or committed harakari, or simply ran away from the state because they desired to be shot by the British hands alone. So why the tiger's hunt continued to be successful? Because within 10 years, like by the age of 30 years, the Tiger King was able to kill 70 tigers. But then his mission came to a standstill. Why? Because now the tigers in the Pratipanpuram could be no more found. So they thought whether the tiger population became extinct, what was the reason behind? Why they could not see more tigers? Whether they practiced birth control or they committed harakari. That means they committed suicide. Or simply did they run away from the state because they desired to be shot by the British hands alone? So now, after killing 70 tigers within a span of 10 years, one day the Maharaja sent for Diwan. Sent for Diwan means he called Diwan Sahib. Diwan Sahib, aren't you aware of the fact that 30 tigers still remain to be shot down by this gun of mine? He asked, Brand shining his gun. Shuddering at the sight of the gun, Diwan cried out, Your Majesty, I'm not a tiger. Which idiot would call you a tiger? No, I'm not a gun. You are neither tiger nor gun, Diwan Sahib. I summoned you here for a different purpose. I have decided to get married. So one day Maharaja called for Diwan Sahib and he said, he was just polishing his gun and he said, are you aware of the fact that 30 tigers still remain? Why? Because 70 were already shot. So when Diwan Sahib saw the gun, he said, Your Majesty, he got scared. Your Majesty, I'm not a tiger. Don't, pinpoint at me. So which idiot would call you a tiger? Jokingly, the Maharaja said this. No, I'm not a gun. You are neither tiger nor gun, Diwan Sahib. I have called you for a different purpose, means that now I have decided to get married. Now the question comes, why did the Tiger King decides to get married? So you can write, first he was of a marriageable age, and of course he had to fulfill his mission. The Diwan began to babble even more. Your Majesty, I have 2 wives already. If I marry you, don't talk nonsense. Why should I marry you? What I want is a tiger. Your Majesty, please think it over. Your ancestors were married to the sword. If you like, marry the gun. A tiger king is more than enough for this state. It doesn't need a tiger queen as well. So here means, just to add humor, to the story, the writer has added this, that Diwan got scared and he said, Your Majesty, he thought he has called Diwan Sahib to marry him. So he says, I have already 2 wives. If I marry you, then king, you can think of, marry to the sword. You can marry the gun. So Maharaja gave a loud crack of laughter. So he started laughing. He said, I'm not thinking of marrying either a tiger or a gun, but a girl from the rank of human beings. First, you may draw up statistics of tiger populations in the different native states. Next, you may investigate if there is a girl I can marry in the royal family of a state with a large tiger population. So, Maharaja had called Diwan Sahib to, tell him about his decision of getting married. So, for that, he asked him to draw a statistics of those native states where they had large number of tigers. And then he said that just find out if there is a girl from royal family and of the state, royal state, where there are tiger population in large number. Why? Because if he would get married to that girl, he would have the chance of killing more tigers by going in that state. The Diwan followed his order. He found the right girl from a state which possessed a large number of tigers. Maharaja Jang Jang Bahadur killed 5 or 6 tigers each time he visited his father-in-law. In this manner, 99 tiger skins adorned the walls of the reception hall in the Pratibandpuram palace. So Diwan Sahib, according to the orders of the Maharaja, he found the right girl from a state where, the king possessed a large number of tigers. So Maharaja got married to that girl, royal girl, and each time he visited his father-in-law kingdoms, and he used to do, he used to hunt tigers. So in this way, he was able to kill 29 more tigers. So here we have read that in this manner, 99 tigers means earlier he had killed 70 tigers and this time he has killed 29 more tigers. So the 99 tigers, the skin of 99 tigers that got, adorned on the walls of the reception hall in the Pratibandpuram palace. Now the Maharaja's anxiety reached a fever pitch when there remained just one tiger to achieve his tally of 100. So he had to kill 100 tigers. Now what happened? He had killed 99 tigers. So how many were left? Just one. He had this one thought during the day and the same dream at night. By this time, the tiger farms had run dry even in his father-in-law's kingdom. That means even they could not find any tiger in father-in-law's kingdom also. It became impossible to locate tigers anywhere. Yet only one more was needed. If he could kill just that one single beast, the Maharaja would have no fears left. He could give up tiger hunting altogether. Means the king has vowed that after killing 100 tigers, he would, stop the hunting altogether. But he had to be extremely careful with that last tiger. Why? Because he remembered what had the late chief astrologer said. Even after killing 99 tigers, the Maharaja should beware of the 100th, because his death would come from that. True enough, the tiger was a savage beast after all. One had to be wary of it. But where was that 100th tiger to be found? It seemed easier to find tiger's milk than a live tiger. So the king, he was, what he had taken vow of, that he would kill 100 tigers. And how many he had killed? He had killed 99 tigers. But he was not able to find that 100 tiger, just one tiger to fulfill his mission. The Maharaja was sunk in gloom. But soon came the happy news which dispelled that gloom. In his own state, sheep began to disappear frequently from a hillside village. So here they asked why Raja was sunk in deep gloom, why he was sad, because he was not able to find the 100 tiger. But soon a happy news came, which, dispelled that gloom. Why? What was the news? He came to know that his own state, sheep began to disappear frequently from a hillside village. The Diwan went home convinced that it was first ascertained that this was not the work of Khadar Mia Sahib or Veera Sahib Naikar, both famed for the ability to swallow sheep whole. Now the sheep, when sheep started disappearing from the village, first they find out that whether it was the work of Khadar Mia Sahib or Veera Sahib Naikar, because both they were very famous to swallow the sheep whole. So when they came to know that it was not their work, that means a tiger was at work. That a tiger used to come on the hillside and take away those sheep from the village. The villagers ran to inform the Maharaja. The Maharaja announced a 3-year exemption from all taxes for that village and set out on the hunt at once. So when the Maharaja came to know about this news, he was delighted. He was excited, and then out of his happiness, he announced that that village does not have to give the tax. The people of that village, they are exempted from the 3-year exemption from all taxes. Now the tiger was not easily found. It seemed as if it had wantonly hid itself in order to flout the Maharaja's will. That news came, but the tiger did not. They could not find the tiger. The Maharaja was also equally determined. He refused to leave the forest until the tiger was found. As the days passed, the Maharaja's fury and obstinacy mounted alarmingly. Many officers lost their job. So, what did Maharaja do? He went and he remained in that village till he finds the hunted tiger. And as the days passed, the Maharaja was angry. Why? Because he could not find the tiger. So in his anger, he fired many officers from their jobs. One day, when his rage was at its height, the Maharaja called the Diwan and ordered him to double the land tax forthwith. First, what did he do out of his happiness? He exempted the land tax. And not when he was in anger. Why? Because of not finding the hunted tiger. What did he do? He doubled the land tax. The people will become discontented. Then our state too will fall a prey to the Indian National Congress. In that case, you may resign from your post, said the king. So Diwan Sahib said that if they will double the land tax, the people may get discontented. They may go against the king. And then their state will also fall into the prey to the National Indian Congress. So king in anger said, in that case, you may resign your post. The Diwan went home convinced that if Maharaja did not find the tiger soon, the results could be catastrophic. He felt life returning to him only when he saw the tiger which had been brought from the People's Park in Madras and kept hidden in his house. At midnight, when the town slept in peace, the Diwan and his aged wife dragged the tiger to the car and shoved it into the seat. The Diwan himself drove the car straight to the forest where the Maharaja was hunting. When they reached the forest, the tiger launched its satyagraha and refused to get out of the car. The Diwan was thoroughly exhausted in his efforts to hold the beast out of the car and push it down to the ground. Now, when the Maharaja asked Diwan to resign from his post, he got scared. He went home. He was convinced that if Maharaja will not find the tiger soon, the result could be catastrophic, means could be very serious. He may have to lose the job. So, but the life returned to him when he saw the tiger, old tiger, which was kept hidden in his house, and he had got this tiger from People's Park in Madras. So at night, at midnight, when the whole town was sleeping, the Diwan and his wife made the tiger to sit in the car, and the Diwan drove the car himself straight to the forest where Maharaja was hunting. Why? Because they would leave the tiger there so that the king could hunt it. When they reached the forest, the tiger launched his satyagraha, means he did not want to come out of the car. He just sat there in the car. So, with great efforts, the Diwan and his wife hauled the beast out of the car and pushed it down to the ground. On the following day, the same old tiger wandered into the Maharaja's presence, and stood as if in humble supplication. Master, what do you command of me? It was with boundless joy that Maharaja took careful aim at the beast, and the tiger fell in a crumpled heap. So the next day, just wandering there, the old tiger reached in front of Maharaja. And when Maharaja saw the hunter tiger, he was full with, boundless joy. He took an aim on the beast, on the tiger, and the tiger fell in a heap. I have killed the hunter tiger. My vow has been fulfilled. Maharaja was overcome with elation. Ordering the tigers to be brought to the capital in grand procession, the Maharaja hastened away in his car. So what did he do? He, just shouted with joy, yes, my vow has been fulfilled. I have killed the hunter tiger. So he ordered his people, the other hunters, to bring the tiger to the capital in grand procession. And then he himself went away in his car. After the Maharaja left, the hunters went to take a closer look at the tiger. The tiger looked back at them, rolling its eyes in bafflement. The men realized that the tiger was not dead. The bullet had missed it. It had fainted from the shock of the bullet whizzing past. The hunters wondered what they should do. They decided that the Maharaja must not come to know that he had missed his target. If he did, they could lose their jobs. One of the hunters took aim from a distance of 1 foot and shot the tiger. This time he killed it without missing his mark. Then, as commanded by the king, the dead tiger was taken in procession through the town and buried. A tomb was erected over it. So, after the Maharaja left in the car, the hunters went, near to the tiger to see him, to have a look at him. And what did they see? They see that the tiger was looking back at them, and he was, baffled. The men realized the tiger was not dead. Why? Because the bullet had missed its mark. So what had happened to him? The tiger had fainted from the shock of the bullet. So since he was old tiger, since he was weak tiger, so he just fainted because of the voice of the bullet. The hunters wondered what they should do. They decided that if they will tell the Maharaja that he had not killed the tiger, or that he had missed his target, he may get angry on them and they may have to lose the jobs. So, just in order to save their jobs, one of the hunters took the aim from the distance and he shot the tiger. This time, he killed it without missing his mark. Then, as commanded by the king, the dead tiger was taken in a procession through the town and he was buried, and tomb was erected over it, that this is the hunter tiger killed by the king. A few days later, the Maharaja's son's 3rd birthday was celebrated. Until then, the Maharaja had given his entire mind to the tiger hunting. He had no time to spare for the crown prince, but now the king turned his attention to the child. He wished to give him some special gift on his birthday. He went to the shopping center in Pratibanpuram and searched every shop, but couldn't find anything suitable. Finally, he spotted a wooden tiger in a toy shop and decided it was the perfect gift. So, now, king was not worried. Why? Because his vow has been fulfilled. He had completed his mission. He had killed those 100 tigers. So, after few days, his son's 3rd birthday came and it was celebrated. Since then, Maharaja was giving his entire time to the tiger hunting. Now he thought that he would, spend some time with his son. So he wanted to give him something very special gift on his 3rd birthday. As a result, to find that gift, he went to the shopping center in Pratibanpuram and searched every shop. Why? Because he wanted to give something very special. But he could not find anything suitable. So finally, he spotted a wooden tiger in a toy shop and decided it was the perfect gift. Since tigers were his passion, so when he saw a wooden toy tiger, in a toy shop, he decided that this was the perfect gift for his son. The wooden tiger cost only 2 annas and a quarter. But the shopkeeper knew that if he quoted such a low price to the Maharaja, he would be punished under the rules of the emergency. So he said, Your Majesty, this is an extremely rare example of craftsmanship, a bargain at 300 rupees. Very good. Let this be your offering to the crown prince on his birthday, said the king, and took it away with him. On that day, father and son played with the tiny little wooden tiger. It had been carved by an unskilled carpenter. So, when the king saw the toy tiger, so that cost of the toy tiger was just 2 annas and a quarter. Since it is, long time backstory, so things were cheap at that time. But the shopkeeper knew that if he would tell the king such a low price, he may get punished. So just in order to boast out, he said to the king, Your Majesty, this is an extremely rare example of craftsmanship, and I would give you at the cost of 300 rupees. Very good. Let this be your offering to the crown prince. So what did the king do? He did not give the money to the shopkeeper, and he said, let this be your offering to the crown prince on his birthday. So the Maharaja brought the toy tiger. On that day, father and son played with the little wooden tiger. But even though the king, the shopkeeper had said that it was a rare example of craftsmanship, but in reality it was carved by an unskilled carpenter. So since it was carved by an unskilled carpenter, so its surface was rough. Tiny slivers of wood, they were coming out like quills. So one of those slivers, one of that wooden piece, it pierced the Maharaja's right hand. He pulled it out with his left hand and continued to play with the prince. The next day, infection flared in the Maharaja's right hand. In 4 days, it developed into a suppurating sore, which spread all over the arm. 3 famous surgeons were brought in from Madras. After holding a consultation, they decided to operate. The operation took place. The 3 surgeons who performed it came out of the theatre and announced, the operation was successful, the Maharaja is dead. In this manner, the 100 tiger took its final revenge upon the Tiger King. So, since I told you that the toy was made of, by unskilled carpenter, so slivers were coming out of it. So while playing with it, one of the sliver, it pierced into the Maharaja's right hand. The Maharaja took that sliver out with his left hand and continued to play with the prince. Next day, what happened? Infection spread in the king's right hand, and in 4 days it developed into a suppurating sore, and it spread all over the arm. Since he was a king, so 3 famous surgeons were brought in from Madras to see the infection, and after holding a consultation, after talking to each other, they decide that they need to operate the king's arm, and the operation took place. These 3 surgeons who performed the operation, they came out of the OT and announced, the operation was successful, the Maharaja is dead. In this way, the 100 tiger took its final revenge upon the Tiger King. Now you must be amazed at the end of the story. Why? Because the astrologers had predicted that his death would come from the 100 tiger, and that he will not be able to kill the 100 tiger. Right? He was so sure of his veracity, of his, prediction. So we have seen that the king was not able to kill the 100 tiger. It was in fact killed by the hunters because he had missed his aim, and in fact his death came from the toy tiger. So this is the end of the story. I hope you must have enjoyed it.